JoJo Rabbit is a film set in Nazi Germany during World War II about a young boy who discovers his mother is harboring a secret. The film was adapted for the screen by Taika Waititi, who also directs and stars, from the book Caging Skies, written by Christine Leunen. Taika Waititi has found success in the past making quirky comedies, such as the vampire mockumentary What We Do in the Shadows and chase comedy Hunt for the Wilderpeople. Most recently, he directed Marvel's Thor Ragnarok, which was well received by critics and audiences alike by showing a lighter take on Thor while not sacrificing a good story. With JoJo Rabbit, Waititi returns to his indie comedic roots for a satirical take on Nazis, hate, and everything in between. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and this is Leaving the Theater. What's up, y'all? I am leaving the theater after seeing JoJo Rabbit, and today I have a guest. Say your name.
Molly.
I am here with Molly, who is uniquely positioned to give her unique thoughts about this movie, and we'll bring her in 1 second. Let's see. All right, so how do we get out of here? Oh, this way. Okay. So, pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. If you listen to the top of the episode, I talked about how the movie is basically following a 10-year-old boy in Nazi Germany during World War II. And as the movie opens, we learn a little bit of about this boy being a bit of a fanatic for the Nazis, and the movie kind of just chronicles him going along his life until he finds out that his mother is harboring a secret. Can't get into that too much without giving spoilers, but I will say the acting from this boy, I don't know how old he is in real life, and his name is Roman Griffin Davis. I don't know how old he is in real life, but really did a great job. There was scenes where he had to cry, scenes where he had to deliver lines and laugh. The writing was solid in this movie, dialogue was great, but mostly him, the stuff that he was doing was fantastic. I mean, essentially, in a lot of ways, you're watching a coming-of-age story of a kid and his friends, or friend, if you will, but it's set, the backdrop is what makes it probably a little more controversial. But that being said, acting was great, not only from him, Scarlett Johansson's in the movie, acting was great from her. Thomasin McKenzie plays a role in this movie. She was great. Rebel Wilson, Stephen Merchant, Alfie Allen, Sam Rockwell, all great. All played different roles in the movie. Won't get into too much of what they did, but want to talk more about, won't get into what they did individually, but all together made a very good ensemble, I think. So acting was great, dialogue was fantastic, very witty. Taika Waititi does a good job of snapping it up. Taika Waititi also in the movie playing a fictionalized version of Hitler and the main character JoJo's friend. So their interaction's fantastic. Again, very well written, very tightly written. Really enjoyed that. The plot wasn't super thick. There's one thing that happens in the movie and everything else happens as a result of that thing. But other than that, we can stand here for a minute. Everything else happens as a result of that thing. But other than that, there's not too much like plot besides the fall of the Third Reich, which isn't super. Where are you going? What? No, stop doing that. No, don't do that. I'm doing a review. Stop.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, you're distracting. You can't do that. You're the worst. This is your last review. Not much plot, but lots of character development. The plot is all based on one thing that happens during the movie, and everything else happens as a result of that thing to JoJo. The rest of the major events of the movie all have to do with the fall of the Third Reich that's happening around them and the invasion of the particular German city that they're in. But that being said, great character development. Everybody goes over the course of the movie. You see everybody take a journey. Even JoJo's best friend in the movie, can't remember his name right now, but even he takes a little bit of a journey, delivers a line at the end, which was just fantastic, which it got laughs. But it was also, as I was listening to it, I was like, pretty poignant. This movie is good for a time like this, where we're thinking about a lot of people that hate a lot of other people. Using the Nazis as a vehicle to explain that makes a lot more sense. One thing I didn't like, and it wasn't necessarily about the movie, but it was about the audience watching the movie, was that they were over laughing. My barber Paul says that all the time, which is there'd be a lot of jokes at the expense of Jewish people, and it felt like, and they were being heavy-handed in the movie. But I think in the movie at some point, it's, even though that the movies are even though the movie and the dialogue plays it for laughs, there's only so much laughing that I think can be done, and people were and it was it made me feel uncomfortable. As a Jewish person, Molly, how did you feel about that?
I kind of agree with what you're saying. I had in the back of my head, I'm wondering, are these other Jews that are laughing for good reason, or are they not Jewish, and am I questioning their intentions? Yeah, I think they made light of the situation in some ways, and had there been a scene a concentration camp, the movie wouldn't have been very funny anymore. I enjoyed it though, but the direct Jew jokes were definitely not what got laughs from me.
And I agree. I didn't feel like the direct Jew, and I also don't feel like the direct Jew jokes were really the point. Taika Waititi is also Jewish, and it's funny because
Cohen. His last name's Cohen.
Taika Waititi?
I just looked on Wikipedia. It's actually Cohen. Right. Or maybe he has two last names.
Well,
but he's definitely a Jew. The Kohen are the chosen ones. He's a Jew.
All right. Thank you, Jewish correspondent Molly Karsh. But yes, Taika Waititi is also Jewish, so it kind of felt like seeing him make the jokes. There's only so much laughing I want to do. It's kind of like when I say the N-word or something around you. There's a limit to how much you can laugh or engage in that. You know what I mean? And I feel like with him or with Borat, with Sacha Baron Cohen, when they make those jokes, you can only, you have to laugh knowing that they're the ones making those jokes, as opposed to we're the ones that are kind of just and we get to laugh a little bit, but I think there's only so much before you're do you actually get what's going on here? You get that this is satire, right? And I think the audience didn't get that, which kind of changed, which kind of set the tempo of the movie a little bit. Now, that being said, this movie was steeped in some controversy, and the two controversial points was that they said that the movie makes light of the Holocaust and it makes the Nazis out to be nice. I didn't personally think that. I thought they did a very good job of the parts that were directly about the Holocaust, and especially in the parts where there's a particular part where they're hanging Jewish sympathizers in the movie, and which is not a spoiler, but they were hanging Jewish sympathizers in the movie, and that part is not played for laughs whatsoever. And the parts where they mention the camps, those are not played for laughs either. I don't think it did, but again, I'm not Jewish. Let's talk to Jewish correspondent Molly Karsh. What did you think?
What was the question?
In terms of the controversy, did you think that the movie made light of the Holocaust, or made them? We'll start there. Did you think it made light of the Holocaust?
I mean, frankly, I do think it made light of the Holocaust. I wasn't upset with the jokes, and it was an enjoyable movie for me, but I could see how it would make people feel upset. I feel like if we were making light of slavery, making light of Japanese internment camps, there are things that are just hard to make light of, and if you're the group of people being targeted, you just watch it a little differently. So I definitely understand people who are offended by it, but I also understand being able to laugh at it. As far as Nazis being nice, is that the other part of it? Yeah,
they said that they made the Nazis, they basically cast a sympathetic light on the Nazis.
I like seeing the perspective of like a righteous Gentile who is taking in a Jew. I think that's like a really interesting perspective that you don't often hear about or don't often see. And I think you spoke about this a little bit, but like JoJo's development and like as a young boy, like how he got tricked into like being a little Nazi soldier, but over time kind of developed into like understanding that like we're all people, whatever, we all love each other. So I think that was like a good character development or like a good like coming of age story more than just like Nazis are nice.
I agree. I think in terms of, I think this movie did a good job. The first thing I thought about when I was watching the movie, when I was thinking about Indiana Jones and how they treat the Nazis in that movie, and they're kind of you haven't seen that, of course. Molly hasn't seen any movie. I should point that out. But those of you that have seen Indiana Jones and like Last Crusade, it was those Nazis. It's the whole idea of it's like they treat them like brutish thugs. They don't really give them much depth. And in this movie, they kind of do the same thing. It's towards the end of World War II where a lot of these people know they're realistically looking at it and seeing that their reign is coming to an end, and they're lampooning them because of that fact. It's like this war ended up being a lost cause. Whereas through the eyes of JoJo, you're looking at him and he's just ingratiated with the Nazis. He just loves it. He wants to be a part of the group so bad. He wants to be a part of the team so bad, and he just wants to be one of them. And looking through the eyes of a 10-year-old boy and listening through his perspective of how he sees the Nazis, for me, as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, I get it. A kid, you could tell a kid anything. Just like imagine in North Korea, you could tell a kid anything about whatever their glorious leader is called. I don't know. What's his name? Kim Jong-un? Kim Jong-un.
Oh,
you could tell them no, not at all. But yeah, honestly, I give the movie 4 or 5 stars. I think it should be in the Oscar discussion. I think you 100%.
You could not tell by his face. I kept looking over to you to see if you liked it, and I couldn't tell at all.
No, I loved it. I hated the crowd.
Agreed. The woman next to me kept burping.
Yeah, she was trash. Yeah, she brought a whole bottle of wine in. They had 2 salads.
They were in their living room.
What was up with that?
Burping up salad.
Yeah, it was gross. Oh, you can smell it?
Yes!
Oh, that's gross. Oh, that's gross. Yes, but again, 4 or 5 stars. Bring your kids 100%. They would really enjoy this. I want to say thank you so much to Molly Karsh, our Jewish consultant, aka also my girlfriend. And yeah. We got to walk into this Target, so I'm not quite back to my car yet. But with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of OhitsBigRon Studios. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. You can get updates about this show and other OhitsBigRon Studio shows by following me on Twitter or Instagram at OhitsBigRon. If you like this podcast, check out Time Well Spent. It's our sister podcast of OhitsBigRon Studios. Also, if you like this podcast, please, 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 this is our 3rd episode. Do me a favor. Go on iTunes, like, review, give us 5 stars, review, tell people about the podcast, share it with people so that, we get more ears on the show. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. See you at the movies.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
I just read the credits.
You can fix this so it's in order, right?
What do you want to say?
I think just in case anyone was wondering, he really truly did this as we were walking out of the theater. I was very curious if you were about to be talking on your phone in front of all these different people or talking on your recorder, recording this, and we're literally standing on the corner in Fairfax right now talking about this movie. So it's very real. We're walking to his car.
All right, this is Ronald Doug Jr. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. See you at the movies.
I feel like someone might want to know that. It's real.
All right, can you say bye?
Bye.